Guys, man, SombraDelPiso back once again with yet another video. Today, it's not going to be anything profound, metaphysical, or anything. Although maybe we'll weave it in there, as we usually do in our videos, right? Today, we're currently in Sofia, Bulgaria, still. Today, we're going to do some comparisons, right, between two cultures, as the title of the video connotes, right? We're going to compare the culture of Bulgaria, which is where I'm currently at, like I said a few seconds ago, to Serbia. Listen, like, comment, subscribe, and then we're gonna get right into it, man. So why am I even doing this, right? I figured, listen, I've had a little bit of an experience exploring Eastern Europe, like for the past year. Like, I think we spent a whole quarter of the year traveling Eastern Europe. So I think I could say, talk about what I'm about to talk about. And to be honest, it's gonna be some comparisons of the two countries, but I'm also gonna put up some pros and cons of Serbia and Bulgaria, right? So just to get this out of the way, my personal favorite country, of course, is Serbia. Serbia is just too powerful. I'm telling you, we're gonna explain it now, right? So let's get into number one of my reasons as to why I think Serbia is a little superior to Bulgaria, right? Let's do a pro-con list. I think a con with Serbia is the weather. The weather in Serbia is just, I don't know what's going on in the Vlad the Impaler's country. I really don't know. I'm going to tell you what happened. So, a reference point, yesterday, I was driving from Bulgaria from Sofia, to Niš, right, which is one of the cities in southeastern Serbia. I remember I've been to Serbia last April, and it's, like I said, my favorite Eastern European country. It was warm in Bulgaria as I'm taking the drive. I had the window down. By the way, this is, as I'm recording this video, it was the 5th of January, right? 2026. It's supposed to be brick in Eastern Europe, right? So I'm driving down the highway. I finally get to the border. We spend like 20-25 minutes, bumper to bumper traffic. Finally get up to the border control officer. She, on the Bulgarian side, she nonchalantly checks my stuff and then, sends me along my way. I get to the other checkpoint, the Serbian side. I don't know what happened. It's just something about, it was this woman that was the border control officer. She was so kind. I was like, yo, dobar dan, kako si? She was like, oh, you speak Serbski? I was like, nah, that's all I know. Ja ne govali parus, Serbski. She was like, wow, you seem like you pronounce the words well, I was like, if I spent more time in the country, I definitely would. But anyway, that's not important. She was much nicer than the Bulgarian border control. Last night, here or there, I continued driving into the goddamn Serbia land, and it just suddenly got so brick. I don't understand. I get all the way to Niš. I parked the car and everything. I had to bundle up with my jacket. If I didn't bring my jacket, I would have froze to death. I really did not understand. I had to put the hood on because it was so cold in Serbia. I'm telling you, one of the cons, one of the cons of that blasted country is the weather. I haven't been to Serbia in the summer, but I'm sure it's cooked for sure in terms of weather. Now, Bulgaria, everywhere I've went to, I haven't been around Bulgaria so much, right? I'm going to go to Plovdiv today. But the weather has been nice. Like today, it's the 6th. The weather is very nice outside. I have my jacket just in case, but it's very, very nice. So let's succinctly put, the weather in Bulgaria is a big pro. I think that it has Serbia beat there. Now, let's talk about hospitality, right? I think Serbia got that beat. I've been hearing a lot of people on the internet saying, oh, Serbians are really like stone-faced and all that kind of stuff. I didn't get that when I was over there. from the example that I mentioned previously, when I was at the border control area trying to get into Serbia, to all these random interactions. I was talking to a lady in a gift store, and she was like, "You need to explore this area." She gave me recommendations without me even prompting. This is what's going on in Serbia. And then the people, what was it? I went in, it was a busy restaurant. And I work in hospitality, so I understand how things are, go down right over there. So I know a little bit of Serbian, just a little, like a very, very small amount. I said, "Yo, dobro večer," right? He was like, "Oh, dobro večer, želio bi sto za jednog," like, "Let me get a table for one." He was like, yeah, of course, right over there. He's like, "You got a nice accent, man." And I was like, "Oh, thank you very much. I'm not Serbian in the slightest, as you can tell." Hospitality off the chart. These people are too kind in the land of Serbia, for sure. Compared with Bulgaria, I'm not going to say that these guys are mean. I'm not going to say that, because they're very kind over here as well. It's just that I think the hospitality in Serbia is just unmatched. I'm telling you, these guys are very, very cool. I was in Valjevo, which is like a little bit of an obscure Serbian city, which we're going to talk about, by the way, next for one of my pros for Serbia. Not a lot of people going over there, especially, Americans, So I went over there. I went to a cafe. I was with this girl from Serbia. I think she lived in Novi Sad. And we were just hanging out. And people were they were nice, very nice. The kids were like looking at me in awe. And then I was just like, "Yo, dobar dan, little one." They went crazy. So I'm not going to say that they're not like this in Bulgaria, but I don't know, man. Something about Serbian hospitality, it sits rent free in my head, right? So I think Serbia got Bulgaria beat on that one. Hospitality. Let's talk about naturaleza. And when I say naturaleza, I'm talking about like ecological phenomena, right? Design of cities, how beautiful the nature is and everything. I think Serbia definitely has Bulgaria beat. I'm going to give you guys an example of how this is a game set match. I was coming back from Montenegro in April. I was driving from Podgorica. I was speeding to goddamn Novi Beograd because I wanted to go to this restaurant just before I could, go back to the Airbnb, go to sleep, and then get ready for the Romania trip the next day. And when I entered Serbia from the southwest, I'm telling you, I saw some of the most beautiful mountains I've ever seen. I'm not even a nature guy. I'm not, like, I used to live near a park in Brooklyn. I wasn't, it was nice. It was nice conversational fodder, but I wasn't really excited about it until I drove in southwest Serbia. I was thinking, I'm like, what is going on? The roads, like, the highways went into like some of these side roads that had to go through the cities and whatnot. And you're on the side of a mountain, and then there was I forgot what city it was. I took pictures of it. I can't bring it. It's like April, right, of last year. So it's going to be through a whole bunch of galleries of photos. But I saw houses upon houses. There was like some geological design where they had a big rock in the middle of a whole bunch of houses, and then they had houses on the rock with a castle. I'm like, what is going on in Serbia? Like, how are they doing this? I went to Soborica, right, which is the farthest northern city of Serbia, right before you get to Hungary. And it's beautiful over there too. Like, the architecture of the buildings are fire. I'm telling you. Now, I think, I have to stop glazing Serbia right now. Let's talk about Beograd. I think Beograd could have been designed a little bit better. It reminded me of Tbilisi. It reminded me of Sofia. It's not really anything to write home about. But there's a lot of stuff to do in Beograd too. We're going to talk about that more. But I think in terms of nature, beautiful sights, Serbia has Bulgaria beat for sure. Like, Bulgaria is beautiful. Don't get me wrong. I drove around. It was nice. I'm going to be honest. I think North Macedonia got Bulgaria beat in terms of nature. Let's call it what it is. But Serbia, I'm telling you, when I was driving from Podgorica in April, I was seeing, so I went through, I forgot what the city was called with that, with the houses upon houses, and then the geological formation, and then the house and the castle on top of that. Then I was driving through Zlatibor. There was some, it was like some northern, I don't know. It was snowing there. It was a lot of snow, and there was a village, or the city rather, and it was surrounded by a whole bunch of trees, and it just looked so beautiful. I had to take a video. I'm like, what is going on? No one ever told me about how beautiful Serbia is. I'm telling you. So let me stop glazing that part. That clearly is a pro on Serbia's side. So we already went over weather, we went over hospitality, we went over environment. Let's talk about expenses, right? Because it's all about finance at the end of the day. If you are not ready for the finance, then you can't come to either country. Let's call it what it is. But if you happen to be low on your finances and you're trying to pick one of the two, I would go to Bulgaria. I have another story, right? I was leaving Niš last night, man, and I already have a little bit of nightmares on the Serbian dinar conversion to USD. I'm telling you, because it's kind of wild, right? So I go to the gas station. I had, I think, 6 out of 8 nodes on the gas gauge full. So I had to fill up the rest. It was just 2 out of 8, you know what I mean? Or 1/4 for the people that know their mathematics. The woman fills up the tank. By the way, the woman, just a girl, she couldn't have been older than 24, 25, running the whole gas station by herself at night. She had 2-3 cars servicing, including mine. Plus she was running up people that were, ringing up people in the cash register in the gas station that needed like items like cigarettes and whatnot. Serbian woman, by the way, little young woman, and I'm sure she's in college for sure, because that's an intellectual society. We're gonna talk about that later too. So she rings me up after I was on pump dva, right? Second pump, that's how you say two in Serbian and Russian, Bulgarian too. I think Bulgarian is dve. It's a small variation. Anyway, she rings me up. She's like, oh, okay, so the total is going to be 5,500 Serbian dinars. I don't know if you guys know how much that is. That was like $48, $50 for 2 nodes on the gas. Meanwhile, comparison to today, I was leaving the casa. I was leaving the house, the Airbnb in Sofia. I went to the gas station, and I filled up my car. It was on half, by the way. It was a little below half the gas gauge. So I'll say 3 out of 8. I filled it up. It costed 23 euro, which equates to $28 USD. I'm telling you, Bulgaria is definitely much cheaper than Serbia. I remember in April, everything was expensive in Serbia. I'm dead serious. Even in Belgrade and Novi Sad, I'll say that those 2 cities take the cake in terms of purveying expensive goods and services. In Zlatibor, it was okay. Indija is nice. That's another city. Valjevo, Subotica. Those are all very cost-effective cities. But I'm telling you, I get a little bit of PTSD and a traumatic reflexive response every time I hear about something that needs to be paid in RSD, because it's expensive in Serbia, I'm telling you. So I think Bulgaria definitely has that beat off, like this food. It is so funny. I think these guys, Bulgaria, they're converting to the euro at the end of this month permanently. They're going to nullify the lev, which was their native currency, right? This meal, I think I'm going to go find out what the total cost is. Can I have the check, please? Cash or card? Let's do card, please. I'm gonna show you guys how much I'm paying, right? I got pancakes, eggs, a burger, fries, a blueberry smoothie, hot chocolate, right? I'm gonna show you. It's not even gonna be crazy. It's obviously gonna be charged in euro, but it's just to prove my point.
So your total is
34 euro and 16 cents. That equates to like $38, $40 USD. Of course, I gotta add it. Let's see. Always tip your waiters, guys. Thank you. Much better. So I gave, I added a 15% tip, but that's what I'm saying. That's not a lot, especially for what I got. If you try to pay for that in Serbia, I think it would be 2,500 Serbian dinar for the burger and the fries alone. The hot chocolate, 650 dinar. I'm telling you that currency gives me PTSD. I'm telling you. So I'll say Bulgaria definitely has Serbia beat when it comes to finances, things being cost effective, right? Let's also compare. I know the guys want to hear this, right? Right. We got to talk about this. Let's talk about the talent comparison between Bulgaria and Serbia. When I talk about, let me get a sip of the hot chocolate first, right? Right. When I talk about talent comparison, I'm talking about females, how beautiful the women are generally in Bulgaria versus how beautiful the women generally are in Serbia. This is an obvious, hands down, clear winner on the Serbian side. Dead serious. I have another story, another anecdote. I went to, let's say, the Equinoxa gyms of Bulgaria here, in Bulgaria, obviously. It's called Pulse Fitness. Pulse Fitness, it's a gym chain. It's all around Bulgaria. They got one near Bansko, which is like where they, which is South Bulgaria, where you could ski at, right? And they have one near my Airbnb. So I decided to go. It's like 5 minutes away via car. 10 minutes because I had to, take all these roundabouts on the highway because I'm staying right near the highway. In the goddamn gym, first of all, when I first entered the country and I was leaving my Airbnb after I dropped my stuff off because I just wanted to get something to eat, I was driving by and I saw this big building. It said Pulse Fitness on top of the building. I look at the building, it's 5 stories of just machines, gym machines, the chest, bench press, leg press, barbell squat racks. We got Smith machines. It has calisthenic areas. I'm like, dumbbell areas. I'm like, what's going on? Then I looked it up because it stayed in my mind, putting in my heart because it affected me so viscerally, right? So I looked it up. I not only it had multiple locations I figured out, but that specific location, in addition to a lot of other locations of Pulse, had a spa, sauna, masseuses available for massages, Turkish baths, jacuzzi, indoor Olympic-sized pools. I was like, whoa. But then, of course, reality hit. It has to be expensive. But that's not here or there. That doesn't support the argument. By the way, it wasn't even expensive. It was 20 euro for a day pass, which is like 24 USD. It's nothing. So then, referring to female talent, I went in the goddamn place. I was doing leg day. I was doing my legs, barbell squats, and all of the women in the gym all looked alike. They all had like the little sports bra thing going on with the skinny, the leggings and whatnot. And all of them had plastic surgery done. This is not an exaggeration. This is just simply an observation and I'm retelling what I've observed. All of them had work done. They must have all been in like their late 30s or something. They looked old. Seriously, the plastic surgery can only do so much. It can only conceal so much. So then the guys that were there too, I guess they were like friends or boyfriends of the women. They didn't look like they lifted at all either. They weren't really doing much, but this is about female talent, so who cares about them? But they weren't beautiful at all. They all looked like they went through a lot of plastic surgery. The woman, I think the most attractive woman in the place was the supervisor of the masseuses on the bottom floor. She must have been in her late 20s, and she had like curly hair, and clearly she had no work done. You could just tell. that's what's. And then I've been going around Bulgaria. It seems like in this neighborhood is very similar to like Prospect Heights, right, or like Lower East Side or something in New York. And there's not a lot of talent here. I'm just gonna call it what it is. I mean, listen, Eastern European women are generally beautiful, but listen, I didn't really see anything spectacular here, honestly. And if we're talking about svelte, slightly curvy, long-haired, it's here, but it's not in abundance. Now let's go to the other side, Serbia. Let's talk about yesterday. In the beginning, as soon as I passed the Bulgarian border control, because that's how soon I was just smacked with the talent. I go to the Serbian side of the border control, and the woman that was complimenting me on my Serbian. She seemed very down to earth, not very, not taking life too seriously, which adds levels of attraction to anyone, really. And it looked like she took care of herself, had her nails not done, but clearly she took care of them. She had nice long brown hair. I'm like, wow, I'm glad I'm back in Serbia. I went to Niš. There's just talent everywhere. It's just from women that are like in their early 20s to women in their 40s. I'm telling you, like Serbia is just they're all there. They're all just walking around. In just Niš. That was just one city. When I was in April, when I was in Novi Sad was nuts too. There was a lot of talent in Novi Sad. When I was in because I was in Subotica with the girl, she's the girl that I met in Serbia last year, who was also Serbian, which she was very beautiful too. She was slightly darker and brown hair, svelte, curvy, wonderful. When I was in Subotica, there was a waitress we had in one of the restaurants she was very beautiful as well. And then she was very kind, very patient with me. She didn't understand English very well. And of course, I took it slow with her, and she was very, very kind and went at a good pace with me. One adds levels of attraction because I'm not saying that there's perfect Serbians everywhere, because I had my run-in with people that weren't the best, in Serbia, but that wasn't a very prevalent thing. That wasn't like a prevalent experience. There's just so much. Long story short, there is so much more talent in Serbia than there is in Bulgaria. That's final. I'm telling you, you guys will figure it out for yourself. Come to this side of the world, check it out. Do your observations. Go on your little Master and Zehenort type stuff. Just walk around, check it out. Because last night what I saw last night in Niš. We're not going to talk about that. Anyway, that's another pro for Serbia. I'm going to end the video after this next one, and it's going to be the final one. We got to give some points to Bulgaria, I guess. But I'm trying to figure out what's Bulgaria really. What's a pro of this place? So let's be technical, guys, because we can't be entertaining all the time. Bulgaria is part of the EU. What does that mean? I think that's one of the biggest pros. If you guys, were, tuning into my live streams, you would know I'm not a big fan of the EU. I don't know why anyone would be. It's a huge supernatorial government that controls every one of its countries that's in the member bloc, demanding a subscription fee in the form of tax dollars, and the votes of those particular countries don't really matter in passing laws that will be fortuitous for that specific country, because the EU Commission, the panel, decides on everything in those countries. I don't know why anyone's part of that thing, but I can only imagine it's getting a lot of traction because, Romania's part of it, Hungary's part of it, and Bulgaria's part of it. I think Croatia is also part of the EU. And remember, these guys were poor, were not very financially fortuitous countries a couple decades ago. And so the EU was also, and Poland too. Poland is part of the EU, and it got like a whole turnaround because a lot of the EU subsidies that it received. So I think that's probably one of the reasons why it's even lasting so long. But anyway, I don't agree with the EU. But it is good. It's a good organization in terms of full Bulgarian citizens. You could go wherever you want in other EU countries, visa free. Well, you got to just prove that you're Bulgarian and you're part of the EU. You can go to Germany, study up, get some chicken, and then come back to Bulgaria and flex, because generally you can make more money out there in Germany than you can in Bulgaria. Austria too. I saw a lot of Austrian license plates on the way to the border. They get out the car and they speak at the Bulgarski. I'm like, what's going on, right? So you can do that. That's one of the main benefits. Serbia, unfortunately, is not part of the EU. However, I did some digging because, I like Serbia. And they have a lot of deals with the EU in regards to importing and exporting goods. So I think they technically have access to the single market, which is a huge perk of the EU countries, but it's not part of the EU, which I think Serbia should stay out of, because once the EU grabs it up, we're not even going to identify the Serbian populace anymore. It's going to be cooked in Belgrade. It's going to be cooked in Niš. It's going to be cooked in Subotica. It's going to be cooked everywhere. So I think Serbia has a very fortuitous deal, because they have access to the main EU benefit, which is a single market, but without getting any other stipulations, which is allowing mass migration into their country. So anyway, this video went on super long. So I'm going to end it here. Thank you so much for tuning in, you guys. If you enjoy that kind of content, like, comment, subscribe, share the video with some peers. Listen, don't ever let this place get you down. I love Eastern Europe. I do, because these guys are very, very cool. They're very, very nice generally. But I don't know, Serbia, it just has a special place in my heart. I don't know why. I really don't. There's an aforementioned reason, but it affects me on a visceral level, this country. I don't. You would think that I'm 5% Serbian or something. I don't even know how to string a proper sentence in a lot of Serbian. And listen, don't take this video as gospel, right? Bulgaria is cool too, right? They have the financial, it's more cost effective to be here in Bulgaria for sure. But I don't know, man. If you're trying to look for something wild, let's go to Serbia, man. It's something cool. Go to Serbia, man. I'm telling you. Anyway, I love you all. Stay radiant. I'm going to see you guys in the next video. Woo!